blessed principal of the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining us in celebration of the Dallas Independent School District's first official new school dedication ceremony for the 2008 bond program. I would like to acknowledge that we have many dignitaries, board members, and other elected officials today. They will be recognized throughout our program. A special shout out and thanks to students, parents, staff, and personal family members and friends for your support. Your presence here truly makes a difference for me. And a most gracious welcome to Miss Kathlyn Joy Gilliam. We welcome her, her family, her friends, and her longtime community supporters. Thank you all for being here. Today's dedication symbolizes a new era of excellence, combining high school with college in a great experience for students. The students here are future scientists, educators, and leaders, and we're giving them the competitive education necessary to be successful in a global society. The Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy was named for a strong advocate and thought leader for education. Ms. Gilliam, we've already given her a round of applause, but she is, from her larger-than-life presence in the boardroom to her time spent with parents, teachers, and students in the classroom. Ms. Gilliam, you epitomize strength, courage, and excellence, and we thank you. Additionally, we are pleased to acknowledge two other community leaders. Right now, you are seated in the Robert and Charmaine Price Auditorium. And I would be remiss if I did not give everyone information, because everyone does not know that Dr. Charmaine Price began her career as a teacher. Other experiences include reading clinician, curriculum developer, assistant principal, and principal of the Harold Budd Elementary. And Robert Price was transferred to Dallas as a manager for Golden State Mutual Life Insurance Company. He followed Dr. Emmett Conrad as trustee on the Dallas School Board, where he served for 3 years. After leaving the board, he became the first president of the Black Coalition to Maximize Education, which became interveners in the desegregation court case, which lasted for 33 years. So I did have to take that time to acknowledge the Prices. And now we will start officially with our program. That was my welcome. Students, if you would come up.
Good morning. Will you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, students, and I would like to take this time to thank our student greeters and student program participants. I hope you get a chance to visit with them and talk with them as you arrive and as you will tour the facility afterwards. I do want to take just a few moments and talk about what an early college is. An early college, high school, we have a charge here. And our charge here is to provide first generation minority students. And what does that mean? First generation, students whose parents do not have a college degree. So our charge here is to provide first generation minority students an opportunity to complete high school and earn up to 60 college credit hours at the same time. Now, if you can reflect on your freshman year in high school, and then reflect, if you went to college, on your freshman year in college. These students are experiencing that at the same time. So you need to have some sympathy for the adults that are working, the adults, the teachers, and the parents, and the partners that are working with these students, because now you see that is a great challenge. If you think about the struggles as a ninth grader and as a college freshman, so it's not an easy task. And so our charge is to provide the necessary academic, social, and emotional supports as they progress through this program of taking dual credit courses through Cedar Valley College. And you'll hear more about that later. So it's a difficult task because we're having to close achievement gaps and accelerate at the same time. So it's a great challenge. But I'm up for the challenge, and our staff is up for the challenge, and the students who choose to come here are up for the challenge. It is my hope, after everyone leaves here today, that we have a great understanding about how this program and this school and everything today was divinely designed. After this event today, because we have so many partners and so many people that were affiliated in making this school a success, you should clearly recognize the role that you as an individual or an organization played in making us be able to be, and helping us to be here today to witness the event. Or you should be able to clearly recognize the rewards that you will reap because of the blood, sweat, tears, and hard work that went in to make this happen. So from me, I hope that you will find out with your interactions with me and the staff why we are here and what we do on a day-to-day basis. From our current and former district personnel and board members, you should understand after they speak how the foundation was laid and how they acknowledge the need for a program like this in the southern sector of Dallas County. And also how they allow for all stakeholders to be involved in this planning process. And then from our early college partners, UNT Dallas, Cedar Valley College, the Texas High School Project, you need to recognize from them that they were bold enough to approach the district and courageous enough to approach the district to create a partnership such as this. So hopefully everyone will have a great understanding of how all of this came together, divinely designed to be a success for the students here. These next speakers reflect their commitment to students through the decisions they make each day. Ms. Carla Ranger has been a lifelong advocate for education and the importance of reading, which inspired her in 1999 to create what has become the very successful and nationally recognized African American Read-In during Black History Month. She has served as member of the Dallas ISD Board of Trustees, representing District 6 since May 2006. And I would like to add, she has been an ardent supporter of me personally and this program. And she doesn't have to make a big announcement or a big showing. She comes and she works hard for this program and for our students. So I want to personally thank her for that. She will be followed by Dr. Claudia Rodriguez, the Dallas ISD's Chief of Staff. And then I will come back up and introduce the rest of the program participants. Ms. Ranger.
Good morning. Good morning. if I look like I'm excited, if I sound like I'm excited, if I'm moving like I'm excited, you know why that is? Because I'm excited. That's right. And I know that many of you are as well. As a matter of fact, something I often do when I visit the students, want to try it here. If you got up this morning purposefully to come out, to be here as a part of this occasion, if you did that this morning, moved with purpose to be here, I want you to clap one time. That's everybody. Great. Now, if you got up this morning, you moved purposefully to come here, to be here in this setting at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy in the Charmaine and Robert Price Lecture Hall, and you're glad that you made it, that you're blessed to be here, I want you to clap 2 times. Great. Now, you know that little song, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay. I see that on your faces. Now, if you're glad and you got up this morning purposefully to be here, you're glad to be here in the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy in this Charmaine and Robert Price Lecture Hall, and you are thrilled that we are honoring Kathlyn Gilliam by naming this school for her, I want you 3 times to say, it's about time. Say it to me. About time. It's about time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Principal Smith, for those kind words. And I always like to take a minute when it is deserving to thank our principals, because Miss Smith came to this school. She, with purpose, selected a staff and put them in place of faculty and support people to help accomplish great achievements at this school. And the first year, and every year, Miss Smith has led, and her faculty, she has led this school to exemplary status the very first year. That deserves a hand. Stand up, Miss Smith, and get your stand up. You know, there's unacceptable, there's acceptable, there's recognized, and then that's exemplary, and that's high. So the very first year, she didn't waste around all those other steps. She led them to exemplary. And of course, she did it by leading a staff, a faculty and staff, and some of them are here. And she values everyone. I've been here and I've seen her treat them all with equal respect, so that the people, when you see this building in that state-of-the-art cafeteria, the people who are working there along with others, she respects all of them, and they are happy to be here. And I'm going to tell you why in a few minutes. But if there are any faculty or staff or anybody here who works in this school, will you please raise your hand if you're standing, or stand up, or poke your head in, or you may be working out there. There's one up there. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Ms. Smith, for what you're doing for the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy. Well, it is my pleasure. To say it's my pleasure, you know I'm thrilled to bring greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Dallas Independent School District as we honor a legendary member of the board, a trailblazer, a person who has been a parent to many children and an advocate for many parents, a person who has been a role model from which everybody, no matter what station, what color, what creed, what ethnic group, everybody can take something from the role model that Kathlyn Gilliam presented to us throughout her life, and certainly for her service on the board and throughout our community. It is a pleasure to welcome you here this morning. There are some other board members here, and the board voted to name this school the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy. I'd like to recognize them and have you see them. First of all, Trustee Lou Blackburn, District 5, who is our current board president. And the newest board member, Trustee Mike Morath, District 1, is also here. There are a few people here who have, at least a couple I've seen, who served on the Dallas ISD board previously. One of them you'll hear from, and we're sitting in the building, named in the lecture hall, named for him. But let's give him a hand for his work and service on the board. That's the Honorable Robert Price. Stand up, Mr. Price. Let's see. Handsome gentleman. And I also saw Judge Thomas Jones, who served as a trustee along with Kathlyn Gilliam. Judge Jones, where are you? And now he serves us in another way with our students. Thank you, Judge Jones. Are there any other trustees here we did not see when we made this list, or any former trustees? Oh yes, another program. As a matter of fact, all the program participants, we welcome former trustee, the Honorable Robert Madrano, who is here. You will hear from him, and also the Honorable Harriet Earhart, who served our school district in so many ways as an employee and as a school board trustee. Another person who's serving us in our state and doing that so well, representing our area, is the Honorable member of the State School Board, the Honorable Mavis Knight. And of course, we also remember the first director for the early childhood education, who went on to serve on the State Board of Education, the Honorable Dr. Rosie Sorrells. I have just been informed that we can all feel, we want our students to be in a safe and secure environment. Well, I want you to know that you're in a safe and secure environment because the Chief of Police, Chief Brown, is now here. I know you all feel a lot safer because of that. Is there anybody here? I don't want to miss anybody who has served this community. I've got some other people I've got to call. We are also happy to have Commissioner John Wiley Price. And a former member of the State School Board is also here, I believe, Mrs. Eleanor Conrad, wife of Dr. Emmett Conrad, who was the first African-American to serve on the board and served us in many ways and on the State School Board. Mrs. Conrad, where are you? There she is. And you will hear from her later, but we are so pleased, and she's always so supportive of all educational endeavors, to have Representative Yvonne Davis. Are there any other public officials, former elected officials, former school board members? They want me to recognize Rosie Sorrells again. We already we did. All right, any others? Judge? Stand up, Judge Brown, so we can see you. Yes, thank you so much for being here. Any others? Judge Etta Mullen is here. Thank you all so much for being here. We also want to recognize that there are members of Kathlyn Gilliam's family who have come from all parts of the United States to join us this morning and to be here for this historic occasion. Several of them have already arrived, and some of the others will be coming, but let's just welcome family from California, Denver, from various places throughout the United States. They've come here to join her on this occasion. Stand up so they can see who you are. Family, look at that. All right. They have come from all over. They are here. This little group of folks started out down there in Campbell, Texas, and look where they've gone, where they've gone. All right. There are also some friends who have traveled in. I understand that Dr. Vivian Johnson came in from Oklahoma, who used to work for Dallas ISD. Is Vivian inside yet? She's coming to be here with you as well. And there are a few friends who started with Kathlyn years ago in the PTA. You know, she didn't just serve the 23 years on the board, but years ago, before she was elected to the Dallas ISD board, or could even be elected to the Dallas ISD board, Kathlyn Gilliam was serving our community, working for students, working for educational excellence in the colored PTA, and then went on to the first meeting, and there's a story one day she can tell you, the first meeting in Jackson, Mississippi, I believe, when the colored PTA and the PTA met together. Now that's the story you gotta hear, because they didn't expect Kathlyn and the other folk to come to that meeting, and the mayor came to greet them, and there was a little bit of a shock, but everything worked out, and they've been going to the meetings together ever since. That's the story one day we'll tell, but one of the ladies who worked with her for many, many years, starting out at, I believe it was the Thomas C. Hassel Elementary School, and that school I think no longer exists, but Thomas C. Hassel Elementary School where her children were, and that's Miss Ever Jewel Hamilton. And Miss Hamilton, a beautiful, some years old, looking like she's 40. Stand up, Miss Hamilton. She worked with Kathlyn, and we are so glad that she's here. And let me tell you, I'm taking the time to recognize them, taking them in to do that, and I'm going to call on Miss Clarine Whitaker too. Stand up, Miss Whitaker, who worked with Miss Gilliam for 30 years at Plain South Dallas and throughout the community. Because these are the unnamed, unknown faces. Well, they're named, but you don't know their names, who worked behind the scenes to help us to accomplish. And I don't want us to ever forget, I don't want the students here at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Academy to ever forget that. And there are other parents and people here who for years worked with her, even before she got on the school board and all during that time. We thank you so much for being here. And I know I need to rush on, but her doctors were working so diligently with her, and they said, we want to be here. So I don't know if they've arrived or they're here yet, Dr. Juarez, any of you, and she was so proud because her grandmother had a school named for her, I believe, in Portugal. Is Dr. Juarez here yet? Or, well, they will be here, you'll get it. Oh, there she is at the top there. Wonderful, wonderful doctor. Thank you for being here. And she knows how special this is because her grandmother had a school named for her in her country. Some of the employers, her daughter's employers, and they have been so diligent about visiting Kathlyn. The lawyers at the law firm she worked for, just want to recognize them. Have they arrived yet? And if you are here, Brian, or any of them, I know that, oh, there they are? Yeah, great, thank you. Thank you so much for what you've been doing and for being here. All right, I think I've recognized everybody. Is there anybody in the room I haven't recognized? Raise your hand. We recognize you, and I thank you so much for being here. Well, this is quite a building that you're in. And to say that it is impressive, well, certainly that's true, but that's just not enough. Wait till you see it. You have to use superlatives to describe this building. Superlatives in every way, because it's the culmination of the work of students, parents, teachers, the staff, the principal, community people. The board member came, and all of us gave ideas, and the architects and their leader, project leader, put everything they could to make this school what we wanted it to be. You will see that this school it's inspirational, it's motivational. There are places where you can meditate and be creative. It stirs up your creative juices. In other words, and I could think of so many ways to describe it, this school is a joy. And I know the staff's gonna get me because I'm off script, but it is a joy. And you know what I say when I come here? I say at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy, there is joy in teaching and learning. You see, it's very fitting that Joy is in the middle. It's Kathlyn, and her name, her family calls her Joy Gilliam. And I'm telling you, when you walk into this school, and it really, I care so much about what is happening here when I see it. The teachers are joyful as they teach. Sure, it's regular school with teenagers but there's joy in the teaching here. And the students are learning, and they're eager to learn. You would just listen to some of their stories. So there is joy in teaching and learning. Kathlyn Joy Gilliam, there is joy in the midst of teaching and learning at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy. You can feel it all around. There's excitement, there's optimism for our students to achieve their highest potential. And through the support of the citizens of Dallas, we join together to invest in these young people, to invest in these new schools. We thank our partners, who will be introduced later, for their investment in this school, because we are helping students here to achieve. We're helping them to grow and to be able to compete whatever the challenges are, and we know that we have many in our country today and as they graduate. But they will be ready because of what's happening in this school. And for this, we can all be proud. Kathlyn used to always say, whenever there was something going on and she would sit and try and figure it out, and she would then say, I am not confused. So when I ask you here, did you purposefully come here? I wanted to be sure that you weren't confused about being here, that you're in the right place. Oh, I see Vicki Meek, director of the South Dallas Cultural Center. So glad to see you here and all the work that you're doing with our students and your support for Ms. Gilliam and education. Thank you. She would say, I am not confused. And I am not confused about what's happening here at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy. Today's dedication is an opportunity for taxpayers to see, for you to see your dollars at work in a much needed facility that provides educational opportunities for students who are coming from all over and who will be growing here from every area of our city. As you tour the school later this morning, you'll be able to take in all of the grandeur of this early college high school that has been uniquely designed to emulate the college experience. So in other words, you're sitting in the lecture hall of a school and a college. So it's a school, it's a college, it's the joy. It's fitting that this school bear the name of Kathlyn Joy Gilliam, who has represented a steadfast commitment to positive change, and she's pioneered so many firsts in the history of the Dallas Independent School District. Her 23 years of dedicated service and leadership on the board, it was remarkable. She was a woman who stood for what is right. She worked for all the children and made things better for all of them. For all the parents, it made things better for all of them. And she would always say, this school district belongs to the public. It belongs to you. It's your school district. And she would say, I don't know of any corporation where there are shareholders who own that corporation and they don't take an everyday interest in what's going on in that corporation. And I expect the same from the citizens of Dallas who own this school district. She fought for quality and excellence in education while she was on the board, and she continues to stand for that and for strong parent and community involvement. So we salute you this morning, Kathlyn Joy Gilliam, for your passion that inspires us all. Thank you for your championship of efforts to encourage parental involvement and leadership and to bridge the gap between the school system and the community. Your devotion has made our school district a better place, our community, and our city a better place for all of our children. You know, she once said, in speaking to students, she said, I want you to achieve, we want you to accomplish, but we want you to remember that you're going to have struggles. You are going to have struggles. But remember, she said, strength comes from struggles. Strength comes from struggles. You grow stronger. So let me tell you something. She must have had a whole lot of struggles. So that's a strong woman sitting over there. Strength comes from struggles. She told those students, we are depending on you. There are people you don't even know who are depending on you. She said, make us proud. Well, Kathlyn Joy Gilliam, today we are proud to present this school honoring you. We thank you for your immeasurable contributions to the district and to the city. We thank you for the delicious fried chicken you would whip up in a minute and invite everybody over to come and share some. We thank you for going into meetings with board people, with community people, and giving everybody the same respect. We thank you for being able to go in the kitchen and make a Louisiana pound cake that beat anybody in Louisiana who made a pound cake, and then take that flour, that apron off, and go in and dress up and go out to meet the public and to greet them and to invite them. We thank you for being a visionary. We thank you for being a person who gave so many contributions to us to help make all of us better. We honor you. We thank you for giving us so much to be able to honor you at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy as we dedicate this school. Thank you, and get ready to experience the joy.
Good morning. You are in for a real treat later on when you take a tour of this facility, because it truly is spectacular. It's a pleasure this morning to bring greetings to you on behalf of our interim superintendent, Alan King, who could not be with us this morning. And on behalf of Mr. King and the administration of the school district, I really want to also express many thanks to Ms. Gilliam and her family for all the hard work, the dedication, and for being a warrior in education for our children in Dallas ISD. I also think, and I know Trustee Ranger alluded to it, we really and truly have to thank the citizens of Dallas and the voters for having confidence in this district in 2008 to pass the bond election that is providing facilities such as this one all over the city. And we are truly privileged and honored that that confidence is what created a building as spectacular as this one. Also, I want to thank all our college partners, our community and business partners, and our staff here at this school, and especially Gail, for having the vision to develop such a spectacular design, for truly showing us what an exemplary high school can look like, an early college high school can look like. And the students here truly are a joyous group of young people. Ms. Gilliam, we also know that as the first African-American female Board of Trustee and also African-American female board president and a champion for education, that the young people here truly have a building that is so deserving of that name. And we thank you for all your years of service to this district and the children of our community. We've greeted a lot of distinguished and honored individuals this morning. A group that I would like to recognize and honor is all the educators in the room, because truly it is educators that are making a difference in the lives of our young people. So if you are an educator, would you please stand and allow us to greet you this morning? Thank you. Again, as a district, we are committed to a quality education and quality facilities such as this one, and we really do appreciate and thank you for your support.
Thank you, Trustee Ranger and Dr. Rodriguez. Our next speakers on the program worked alongside Mrs. Gilliam as she served on the district's Board of Trustees and have themselves contributed so much to the fabric of our educational community. During a period of challenge, their efforts helped create the promising atmosphere for progress that we all benefit from today. Former Superintendent Nolan Estes and board members Robert Madrano and Robert Price will be followed by Dr. Harriet Earhart, who served on the Board of Trustees and went on to work to address the needs of public education as a state legislator. Won't you come?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here. That was a fine introduction. I feel a little bit like the Methodist bishop who was attending a church service where he had just appointed a new young pastor. And of course, the young pastor introduced him as he was speaking that day and did a flowery introduction, and the bishop got up and said, "May we pray?" The bishop said, "Father, forgive the young pastor for his exaggerations." He said, "Father, forgive me for enjoying them so much." So I am delighted to be here in this magnificent school with an exemplary, nationally recognized program honoring a true educational statesman of our time, Kathlyn Gilliam. Before I begin, I must, as a point of personal privilege, talk about two people that are in the audience. With all of this brass here, it is truly awesome. In fact, if I sound like I'm a little nervous, if I talk like I'm nervous, if I appear to be nervous, it's because I am. Anytime you get 15 board members or former board members as a superintendent, you've got to know you're at risk. So that will explain that part. But a week ago, I had the pleasure of attending the state school board meeting for 2 days, and I watched that school board deal with some very, very tough issues. And I was very, very impressed with the performance of your representative, Mrs. Mavis Knight. Mrs. Knight, we appreciate it. I must say, you are well represented, and when she talks, everybody listens. Secondly, I can't pass up this opportunity because, of course, the University of Texas is going to obliterate the University of Oklahoma this afternoon. But we have a proud graduate of the University of Texas in our PhD program, Dr. Lou Blackburn. We have a very rigorous doctoral program, and Dr. Blackburn not only finished the program, but he finished among the top in the class. And since that time, he has demonstrated and provided proof of evidence that he is one of the more able transformational leaders in the state. So Dr. Blackburn, congratulations. We appreciate your leadership with the state board. Now I'll go on before I get into real trouble. Down through history, great leaders have had a rather happy combination of rare attributes. In the first place, they're intelligent and do their homework, but equally as important, they are very able communicators. Kathlyn Gilliam has these in great abundance. If you've ever faced off with Miss Gilliam, you know she is intelligent. In fact, she's got an overabundance of gray matter, and the more important part, I guess, is that when there's a meeting and she has a responsibility, she was always there. She was there early and stayed late. In addition to that, of course, she was always prepared to make sure that each child got the best that we had to offer. She was a great communicator. Larry Askoff, our great director of communications, is here, and he reminded me last night that her district, District 9, had the best structure for communication of any of our 9 districts. It was, as I remember it, District 9 on the move. And let me tell you, that district did move. She believed that that the public schools belong to the public. They ought to be in the schools. When they get in, they would get interested. When they get interested, they get involved. And then they become informed, and that's the purpose of communication. And they were well informed. We never had a meeting of any significance dealing with great issues that we didn't have representation from District 9. You've heard the coin phrase, tell it like it is. That came from Kathlyn Gilliam. You see, she was a great board member because she would tell us as administrators what we needed to hear, not what we wanted to hear. And that was one of the greatest assets, of course, that a superintendent could have. She believed, of course, each child deserved an equal life chance, and that's what school's all about, to make sure they have an equal life chance at success in our society. Secondly, great leaders are innovative. They have new ideas. They are creative. More importantly, they know how to work together to achieve those goals. Many of the programs that became a model for the nation were created or energized or initiated by Kathlyn Gilliam. In fact, many of the programs that are still in force today that are a model for this nation were instigated by her. I will never forget. She asked me if I would go with her to talk to Cecil Rusk, who is the executive director of the Texas Association of School Boards. Now, Cecil Rusk was from deep East Texas. He didn't live in Vidor, but he was close. Now, I have to be honest with you, I never did see him wearing a sheet. But I'll declare there were several times I thought I saw a sheet coming out from under his jacket. Well, there he was in this powerful position, and Mrs. Gilliam and I walked into his office, and she said, Mr. Rusk, I would like to help you create an African American caucus for the State School Board Association. You would have thought it was the end times. You know, in Revelation it's talked about in the end times terrible things will happen. Well, his jaw dropped, he swallowed his Adam's apple, and he stumbled around a little while. To make a long story short, the next state school board meeting, it was announced that Mrs. Gilliam would lead in the formation of a state African American caucus. Well, secondly, she knows how to work together. Kathlyn, I talked to Ruben Oliveris, one of your great friends of past years. Ruben was Deputy Commissioner of the state of Texas, Superintendent of Schools in San Antonio for 7 years, but here as the Deputy Superintendent for a long while, and worked very closely with Miss Gilliam while she was on the board. And I said, is there one thing that strikes you about her that I could share? And he said, yes, she was a team member. She always worked together. He said, I would talk with her about the issues. we would discuss them, and she'd say, okay, let's work together to solve the problems. I can tell you that Miss Gilliam and Yvonne Ewell were my teachers. They taught me that institutional racism was alive and well in Dallas. And that was the most important thing I think that they could have done for me, because it was sabotaging the lives of young people and shortchanging their futures. And together we worked to try to eliminate that. She was always a team player. I can say that you would not have the comprehensive magnet school, high school, named Lincoln Comprehensive Magnet, had it not been for Kathlyn Gilliam. Dallas is great on forming commissions and committees, and they study things to death. Well, we were getting ready to pursue a $500 million bond issue, and we had the architects and the engineers and the business leaders studying, and they came up and presented a program to the school board. And after they presented the list of things to do with the $500 million, Mrs. Gilliam said, Lincoln Comprehensive Magnet High School is not on that list. So the chairman explained to her, well, Lincoln High School is scarcely 20 years old. It's recently renovated, well equipped. It's not at capacity. No, it's not on the list. She said, Mr. Chairman, our students need a quality program, and they need to be adequately housed. Lincoln Comprehensive Magnet High School is not on your list. The chairman said, well, we have Pearl C. Anderson 4 blocks away, and the judge has just moved 1,000 students out of there, and we have 100 empty classrooms. Mrs. Gilliam, and if you know her, you know the second time her voice raises a little, and her volume increases a little. Mr. Chairman, Lincoln Comprehensive Magnet High School is not on your list. He explained all of that. Well, the third time, her voice had gotten a bit higher and she was more forceful. And he said, Mrs. Gilliam, I think you misunderstand me. Lincoln Comprehensive High School will be on our list, and it will be built. She is tenacious. Well, we worked together for several years, a special friend. Third, a great leader has to be courageous. They have to be determined. They have to be fearless. Indeed, at times they have to be stubborn if you're going to take care of the needs of young people. Mrs. Gilliam would stick to the task regardless of how difficult and regardless of how seemingly how difficult and impossible it was. She would stay with it until it was finished. She would not underscore this. She would not play politics. She would not play games. She would not compromise her convictions when the children and youth's needs were important. And last, fourth, great leaders look outside of themselves for that source of power that can only come from above. The good book says that we are to be servant leaders. I have not worked with a person who is a finer, more able, Christ-centered servant leader than Mrs. Gilliam. She believes, as I do, that a person, a life without God is like an unsharpened pencil. It has no point. So, well, I don't know of anybody that has this happy combination of rather rare attributes in greater abundance than Kathlyn Gilliam. She is true model, and if there was ever an appropriate name for a high school like this that has had national recognition, it's Kathlyn Gilliam's name, and we congratulate you, Kathlyn, on a lifetime of service. I want to congratulate this board on having the wisdom in naming this school after her. It couldn't be better. Actually, the name of the school is very important because it speaks the intentions of the community toward its youth. This school, with Kathlyn Gilliam's name, will speak the intentions of the community extremely well. Winston Churchill, I think, said it best when he said, we first build our structures, our buildings, and we shape them and name them. Thereafter, they shape us. I want you to know that Kathlyn Gilliam School will shape the lives of hundreds of thousands of young people for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. We know we're here, gathered here to pay tribute and honor to Kathlyn Gilliam. She will be remembered as a committed and dedicated person to education. She fought for all children, all children. I can attest to that. I served with her 13 years. She was and she is a champion of education. She devoted countless of hours, 23 years, good pay salary. They don't even pay to service school, 23 years. I saw Chris. She would take time to go pick him up at school to bring him back to the school board. Because those countless committees that she served were tireless. And there was Chris sitting there with us. 23 years. She was a fighter. As Dr. Estes said, she was a fighter. She, when we first got elected, we were the new kids in town. And the court order came down. And based on racial institution that was being provided with the school district, we started drawing the desegregation plan. And Ms. Gilliam, you did a great job. Great job. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She holds the administration accountable. She visits schools and commodes were stopped up. Water faucets were not working. Dilapidated curtains in the auditoriums. She would ask, where's those work orders? They couldn't find work orders. And she stayed on top of those work orders until they're found, until those commodes were unstopped, until those water faucets were fixed, until there was paving, until they all, I can go on and on and on. And I learned from her. And that's what Kathlyn, I remember on the move, 9 was on the move. I represented District 8, so I said, I better put District 8 on the move too. As time went on, we started building seniority. Board members start leaving, and she started building years of ranking member, and to get on a committee and to become chairman of a powerful committee, the evaluation and educational resource committees. Ms. Gilliam chaired those. And that's where change comes from, those accountability of what's happening in the school districts. So it was indeed an honor to serve with her, and I can attest that this is a memory that will be long overdue coming. So, Ms. Gilliam, God bless you, and I thank you for taking the privilege.
I want to say thank you, Mrs. Smith, and I want to thank you for the young lady, Miss Jamie Smith, who was our tour guide when we came through the building. She should conduct all the tours. When people come here from around the world, Miss Jamie Smith should help conduct the tours. To all of the members of the Gilliam family, especially Kathlyn, good friend. I'm sorry. And, okay, still getting directions from my wife. and the commissioner. Mrs. Kathlyn Joy Gilliam, who was president of the Dallas Colored PTA, and whose membership was not welcome in the administration building of the Dallas Independent School District. Today, we're having an attractive learning facility named in her honor. President Dr. Sorrells, is he here? I didn't see him. But President Dr. Price, it is fitting and correct that the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy is located between two great educational institutions, Paul Quinn College and the University of North Texas at Dallas. Cedar Valley Community College is just south on Lancaster Road. All of these educational institutions are in the same vicinity. Charmaine and I are honored and very grateful to have this lecture hall named for us. I think that's great. Through the years, we have worked closely with Kathlyn, and it has been truly a learning experience for me. Dr. Estes, I see you recall that back in 1974, you testified in Federal Judge Sarah T. Hughes' court that institutional racism existed in DISD. The judge agreed with you in her decision. During my period on the school board, Mrs. Gilliam, Dr. Harriet Earhart, Mr. Robin Madrano, and I worked closely together, making sure the students of Dallas were receiving the best in education. We were advocates for students and employees. We did not agree all the time, but our differences did not interfere with what was best for Dallas students. Mrs. Gilliam and I met with parents, court auditors, and attorneys involved in the Dallas desegregation case in her office so often that ministers visiting Reverend S.M. Wright Sr. referred to People's Baptist Church as the Black Administration Building. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, so many parents were complaining about the mistreatment and miseducation of their students who were bused to North Dallas schools. Mrs. Gilliam and I decided to make a surprise visit to 3 of those schools. We found black students who were bused to these North Dallas schools were segregated in supposedly integrated schools. They were separated from white students into separate classes and basements and portables. The school buses carried the black students to separate entrances from those used by white students. When we gave our report to the full board, some members were infuriated, but that made no difference to Kathlyn and me. We were not trying to win a popularity contest among board members and high marks from certain groups or organizations. Our mission was to see that all students receive the best education, and especially those of African descent, the children of our constituents. Parents, it pays to listen to your students. Board trustees, Mrs. Gilliam met with her constituents. In the spring of 1980, Kathlyn Joy Gilliam became the first African-American elected president of the Dallas Independent School District Board of Education. This did not happen easily. After approximately, and Dr. Earhart, you remember this, after approximately 5 rounds of voting, she won. Cheering broke out throughout the administration building where she once was not allowed to enter. We continued to meet with citizens, leaders in the black community, representatives of 13 black organizations, and school administrators every Saturday in March of 1980. Mrs. Gilliam gave the group the name Black Coalition to Maximize Education. And I was elected the first president. Through the legal work of attorneys E. Bryce Cunningham and H. Ron White, we became interveners in the DISD desegregation case, and we stayed in that case for about 23 years. Through the perseverance of Mrs. Gilliam, the South Dallas Learning Centers were organized in 1984. The students who were mistreated, miseducated, and segregated in North Dallas were enrolled in learning centers in South Dallas where they were able to excel. In 1997, after serving Dallas school children for 23 years, Mrs. Gilliam left the school board, but continued to fight for the highest quality of education, inclusion, political rights, and justice. Mrs. Gilliam's journey from president of the colored PTA in a segregated society under Jim Crow laws to president of the Dallas School Board is today having this incomparable Institute of Learning named for her. This is indeed remarkable. This is an honor she deserves. It is imperative that the students of Texas know the struggles and accomplishments of this great lady. Kathlyn, thank you for allowing me to be part of this program. And thank you, everybody.
Hello. To my colleagues, to Nolan, all of you distinguished guests, and to my friend Kathlyn, thank you for having me here. What an honor to be on this program. I could tell you about Kathlyn's early years before she served on the board as a civil rights leader, but I'm not going to do that because you've heard about that. I could tell you about Kathlyn's love for the schools in her district, how passionate she was about those schools. She and I went together one time to visit a school, a high school near Fair Park, and we visited the classroom of a first-year white teacher in that school. I don't know whether that woman could read or write or not. We never established that, but I know she couldn't teach school. Kathlyn and I left the school and sat in our car out in front of the school, and we both cried. But I'm not going to tell you about that. I could talk to you about Kathlyn's strong religious belief. You've heard of that before. There was a time between a committee meeting and a board meeting that Kathlyn and I knew something very important was not likely to happen. And we agonized over it. We went together to a local church and we knelt at the altar and we prayed for our children. But I'm not going to tell you about that religious one. I could tell you about Kathlyn as a friend. Kathlyn and I both put together what we needed for our children's weddings. It was a pleasure to work with her as a friend. But I'm not going to tell you about that. I could talk to you about Kathlyn as a political leader. After Kathlyn left the board, it was she and her many, many friends, many of whom are here, that I would go to for advice when I've followed another political career. And Kathlyn was generous with her counsel and always supportive of me. And I'm grateful for that, but I'm not going to talk to you about Kathlyn's political leadership. I'm going to talk to you about a time when Kathlyn was not a civil rights leader. When Kathlyn didn't have time to be our friend. When Kathlyn was not passionate only about the schools in her district. I want to tell you about the time when Kathlyn was the president of our board. At that time, Kathlyn became the leader of all the children and parents of our city. She went to the schools in North Dallas, and she went there in style. Kathlyn was selected as one of the best dressed women in Dallas. And she advocated for those white children. And she listened to those white mothers and fathers. And she worked hard for all the children in Dallas. The boys and girls, the young men and women who are students in this school are indeed fortunate to to come to a school named for such an outstanding person. The community of Dallas as a whole is fortunate to have had the leadership and to continue to have the leadership of Kathlyn Gilliam. And I am particularly fortunate to have Kathlyn as my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Estes, Mr. Madrano, Mr. Price, and Dr. Earhart. Your participation today is much appreciated. Thank you for the history lesson. To their words of praise, we would like to add our own with a little tribute. Now let me put in a disclaimer. We do not have, of course, extracurricular activities. We do not have choir, theater arts, band, and all of that. But you won't believe that when you see what you're about to see. So we will have a reader's theater presentation, and those students will enter from the back when we begin and give them your attention as they present to you an oral tribute. And then we have a choir and band that we have put together for a musical tribute. So we work it out here at the Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy. And then I will be the stagehand. I'll get the curtain.
Kathlyn Joy Gilliam is my heroine.
Ms. Gilliam embodies courage, vision, leadership, and persistence.
When others said no, she said yes.
When others asked why,
she answered, why not?
When some wanted to deny her people equal rights and equal access, she fought.
She insisted that educational opportunity be offered to all students.
All students, regardless of color or socioeconomic status.
This is why.
this is why.
This is why.
We honor Kathlyn Joy Gilliam.
The Kathlyn
Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy stands for.
It stands for excellence.
It stands for accountability.
It stands for promise.
An equal educational opportunity for all.
We are the legacy of her courage. We are the fruits of her vision.
We are the heritage of her leadership.
We are Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy.
And we are proud, full of promise, and positive about the future.
Ms. Gilliam, we commit to keep your legacy alive and pass it down to future classes.
We promise we will make you, our parents, our community, and our teachers proud. For we are Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy.
For all those times you stood by me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrongs that you made right.
You're the one who held me up, never let me fall. You're the one who saw me through it all. Were my strength when I was weak, were my voice when I couldn't speak, were my eyes when I couldn't see. All the things that were me, you picked me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith unto believe. I'm everything I am because you love me.
You gave me wings and made me fly. You touched my hand and I could touch the sky. I lost my faith, you gave it back to me. You said no star was out of reach.
You stood by me and I stood tall. I had your love, I had it all. I'm grateful for each day you gave me.
Maybe I don't know
much is true. I was blessed because I was loved by you. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best of what in me. Lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believe I'm everything I am. Because you love me. And you are always there for me. The tender wind that carried me. The light in the dark, shining your love into my life. You've been my inspiration. Through the lies, you were the truth. My world is a better place because of you. Yeah. You were my strength. Oh, when I couldn't speak. Lifting me up. I'm everything I am because you love me. Oh, you were my eyes. You saw the best. Lifted me up when I couldn't speak. Gave me words to believe. I'm everything I am because you love me. I'm everything I am because you taught me.
Beautiful. And then, as she comes to the stage, isn't she lovely? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And at this time, Ms. Gilliam, we would like to present to you a plaque from the school. And just to give you a description, because many of you can't see the plaque, we were privileged to be witnesses to the final beam being placed on this building when it was built. And we had a special ceremony called a beam topping ceremony here. It was really private. It was the students and Ms. Gilliam and our community partners who were here on the parking lot with all the construction mess, and we witnessed the final beam being placed here in the building. So at this time, would our students come forward and present a picture from that beam topping ceremony and read a couple of words. Go ahead, Karen.
On October 20th, 2010, we signed the final beam and witnessed its placement in our new building. We smiled then, but today, as we formally open our doors, we beam with pride. Your advocacy, service, and contributions to the Dallas Independent School District created a blueprint for equality and student achievement. Your courageous leadership serves as the foundation for our future success. You are a pillar of strength and support for teachers, students, administrators, and members of our community. You inspire us all to build upon your legacy. Kathlyn Joy Gilliam, you have forever made your mark, not only on history, but upon our hearts, and we thank you.
Yes.
In recognition of her service and commitment, we are pleased to present her with this memento. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have some words from Mrs. Kathlyn Joy Gilliam.
They love you too. Thank you so very much. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for each of you for coming out today. And it's no doubt that I am very excited. My family is very excited. And I just appreciate the effort that each of you made to get here today. This is quite an experience for me. And as I look out over the crowd and look at these faces of the board members that I worked with down through the years and superintendents, I can only say thank you for what you contributed to whatever success I may have. And you know, I could just take a roll call as I look at Harriet Earhart and the kinds of things that she was able to help me do. And because Harriet she was a pro on the area by the time I got there. And I know she never told me all the things that she had to say, but I'm glad she shared with me the things that she felt like she could. I want to especially take a personal point of privilege because we have a group of lawyers that my daughter's working with, and I can't think of the name of that pie, but one of the sons cooked me the most delicious Parker pie that I'd ever eaten. So you see, I didn't get to eat much of it because it didn't fill me out too much. But I'm waiting on the second helping of that pie. And I'm not going to forget that either. So thank you. I think it was Parker's pie, was that right? Oh, tell me the name of the pie and listen. Parker's what? Parker's I like pie, and I really do. And I really do like Parker's pie. So you'll have to do another one. That's not the last of your cooking. So I'm going to be waiting the next time the door is open, and I know you're going to be there. Again, seriously, I do sincerely thank you for this privilege today. And someone said it hasn't been easy, but nobody said it would be easy. But you know, we made it, and I don't regret any of it. I think that I'm a stronger person for that, and I just see so many people that I need to thank, but I won't start to call the names today because I'll get in trouble, and I don't want to do that. And I've been in enough trouble in my day. You know, sometimes I feel like that little puppy that's on the commercial that talk about trouble, trouble, trouble. And he's just turning and twisting in that tub. I said, brother, I know what you're talking about. But anyway, seriously, it's a privilege to be here this morning, and I just wish I could put you all in a bottle and take you home with me. But somehow our paths will cross again, and I know it's going to be a very delightful time. Thanks again, and thank you all so much for being here.
To Miss Gilliam and the Gilliam family and friends, I am delighted to be here to just say a couple of things. We have a resolution from the state of Texas, but more importantly, I wanted to be here to say thank you for what you've done for all of us. John and Thomas, y'all can stand up. Y'all know y'all come from this leadership behind this woman. She taught us, for those of us who are in public office and for those of us who've been involved in the community, we had great teachers. I got to Dallas from West Texas. I knew nothing about any of this stuff until I started meeting and going to meetings and watching the kind of talent and leadership. And we've heard people talk about strength. We've heard people talk about doing and serving. But what about the courage? We talk about the times are tough now. Can you imagine what the times were for her by herself? And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss the occasion. I'm intruding on the program. Y'all know I'm not printed on here. But there are those of us who owe a debt of thank you to you, but for folks like you, teaching us how to stand up for ourselves and for our community when we didn't even know how to. But for you, saying it's okay to stand by yourself when you think you're right. But for you, teaching us that the greatest investment is to invest in our community and invest in others. It's not what we're doing for ourselves, but what we will do for others that will be the difference. We want to make sure that we were here. I wanted to make sure I was here, and I wanted to make sure the state of Texas recognized this quality of leadership. And Ms. Smith, your challenge is to live up to this legacy. It won't be about her legacy after this dedication. The challenge is going to be for you all to live up to the legacy, because when it was the toughest, she was still the toughest. And so I want to just thank you for your leadership. And I got a resolution, and Judge Jones is helping me, and John come up, because I will tell you all, you hear about all of the leadership and community involvement. We had folks who didn't let us sit down, and we didn't know any other way after working. Have you gone to one of her committee meetings? Or if you've gone to something, and even when she left the school board, she was still teaching and doing and sharing and encouraging. You know, you'd get a call, Miss Gilliam would say, we're having a meeting over here in South Dallas, Clean South Dallas, and you need to be over here. And it was about the community. And so I just want to tell you how much we appreciate your leadership. We appreciate what you've meant to this community. We appreciate the lessons that we learned that you never had to tell us just by watching your behavior. Because that in itself says that you've given us all reason to be here and celebrate this occasion and this dedication. So thank you, family. We know you lost a lot of time with her because she was doing things in the community. We want to thank you for that sacrifice that you had to go through while this was going on. And with that, I would just say I want to present this resolution on behalf of those of us in the state of Texas recognizing your service and your leadership. Thank you very much.
And before she leaves the stage, there's one other group that's very important that she started. We worked 3 years on the curriculum for many parents who went through a program where they achieved excellent guidance, leadership, training, and direction. There are members who worked with or who presented at or who were part of the Selena Butler Leadership Academy for Parents. Will you please stand in honor of Kathlyn Gilliam, who started the Selena Butler Leadership Academy for Parents. Those of you who were a part of the group, thank you. There's Dr. Roscoe Stick, who was also a principal, Ms. Melville Jackson, former principal Evelyn Acker, Ms. Linda Wynn, all of you, thank you so much. That was a proud accomplishment for her. Where's our principal?
Okay, thank you. And once again, isn't she lovely? Let's stand up.
There is one more, and this is at the top of the list, very important. Kathlyn Joy Gilliam believed that a clean environment, an orderly environment, contributes to learning and excellence in education. And that was proven as she worked with District 9 on the Move and the principals in the area and other community people. Kathlyn Gilliam created and worked hard with the creation of Clean South Dallas. Out of that, every fall and every spring, she cleaned up that community. People joined in, and the surrounding neighborhood, she took the time to clean it up, and that was an active group. She got a house, and is she coming on back through? When she got the Clean South Dallas home where people could meet and the community could come out, it was just a frame with nothing in it. And she said, but we can do something with it. She had the vision, and it became the beautiful structure, White House home, Birmingham. So Clean South Dallas, and thank you, Commissioner Price, no one has mentioned that, but that is a start, because that was a part of her whole educational movement. Clean South Dallas, and there are many of you who have worked with Clean South Dallas, been there, met there, did something there. Raise your hand if you have ever been, see so many people. Thank you, thank you. Clean South Dallas, another star in her crown.
At this time, our next speaker is someone who can help us really appreciate this unique facility. And I want to tell you, you haven't seen anything yet. When you see the rest of the facility, you will see why we are here today. It is just really awesome. But this whole school was designed, the learning drove the construction. The program drove the construction. And in April 2009, a visioning committee was assembled by the district to define the parameters necessary to achieve excellence in learning here for our students. And again, the learning and the program drove the instruction, and we were all educational stakeholders were a part of the planning. So at this time, our director of Design and Special Projects, David Patton, who helps to ensure the construction projects in the 2008 bond program are completed on time, within budget, and to the specifications required, will give us an overview of the bond program in this facility.
Thank you so much. I would be remiss if I didn't tell my own anecdote about Miss G. Almost 20 years ago, I had my first experience with her. She was on the board at the time, and I had just eaten dinner, and one of my project managers called me at the house on my phone, said they had a little problem at J.W. Ray Learning Center. Ms. Gilliam was there, and could I please come down and provide some assistance? So while I was driving down, I looked up our budgets, and I realized that small school had the whopping budget in the 1992 bond program of $96,000. Now, to shorten this story, before Ms. G got through with me, I spent $6.5 million. But she's that kind of person, and that's why we built this kind of school. I hope when you walked in the door, you just said, wow, I can't believe Dallas Independent School District has built a school like this. It's quite remarkable. There are a lot of people to thank. And if you bear with me, I'd like to introduce some folks if they're still hanging around here. We have a bond advisory committee. Everybody has to report to somebody in the school district, and we report to the bond advisory committee. I know Mr. Colin Gradage, who's the chair of that committee, is here. Ms. Joyce Foreman. If there are any more of you that are present, please stand and be recognized. Oh, Pat Mays. Thank you so much. These people do a lot. We work with them every quarter, and annually they present a fairly hefty report to the Board of Trustees on the progress of the program. It's a beautiful building. You should all thank the fine architectural firm SHW Architects. The primary architects there were Terry Hoyle and Van Dana Nyack. Outstanding job. Our great builders, Satterfield and Ponticus, they've built several new schools for us. They have a new one under construction as we speak. Our program management firm, Jacobs Engineering, Mr. Nick Norris and Dave Polson, done a beautiful job working with the folks out here and getting this school built. And of course, two very special groups within the districts, our own facilities department and our maintenance department. Because from here on, it's their job to keep this building looking good and operating as it should. And they do a great job with all of our schools. We're very pleased with the work, and it's always a pleasure to finish one and turn it over to them. And I hope they have good luck, and it's a very efficient building. The 2008 bond program was a $1.35 billion program, included 14 new schools, of which this is one. It included 12 school additions. It also included renovations to 204 existing other schools. This is one of the first 4 new ones to open this fall. We also opened 2 newly repurposed schools for a total of 6 new schools. It's about 106,000 square feet. It sits on 10 acres of land that the district has owned this property for quite some time, however, not at this location. Our property was stuck right in the middle of University of North Texas's property. It didn't even have access to the street. And in working with them, they conceded they would like to consolidate their property, and they offered to trade with us, which gave us nice access off Camp Wisdom Road here. Also close proximity to their campus. We started out the design of the school. We told the architects it needs to look like it belongs on a college campus. The collegiate environment is our goal from the start, and I think you'll be very pleased as you go through it and see some of the unique things that we have. Total cost on the project is about $24 million. It's designed for 500 students in grades 9 through 12. Truly collegiate atmosphere. You'll see that everywhere you go. From the lecture hall, you're going to see some neat things about this. Behind me is an amphitheater. There's an operable wall on the other side of these curtains where we can close this room off, open the outside wall up. People can sit in the amphitheater and see a production in the outdoors. So it's just got a lot of really, really neat things. In the commons area outside, you're going to see some interesting things. Some large rear screen projection devices. Might be nice to come down here some Sunday and get the Cowboy games on those things. But, they're going to be spectacular. You'll find that whole area is designed for collaborative learning. Meditation, I believe Ms. Ranger spoke something about that, is where kids can study together, they can learn together, they can share ideas. And so the whole school has been designed like that. We've got out there, we've got a lecture pavilion, of course, a research center, an observation deck. You've seen the yellow space that's upstairs at the end of the building there. They call that the perch. Some might call it the learning deck. Again, that's another space where students can go and collaborate, do team learning, do team projects. The classrooms themselves, when you go in them, they're collegiate style. You'll see seminar tables, not the old-fashioned desks that we all went to high school in. It's a sustainable building. All of our new buildings are built to sustainable design standards from the Texas Collaborative for High Performance Schools. It features an awful lot of natural lighting. It features very energy efficient artificial lighting systems, use of a lot of recycled materials, fly ash in the concrete and things like that. Replenishable materials. When you go out in the commons area, you'll see what looks like a lot of wood flooring. It's not wood at all, it's bamboo. And you remember, bamboo is a grass. It grows very quickly. In fact, some places it grows almost a foot a day. So unlike a tree, which takes many, many years to grow large enough to cut and saw into lumber, bamboo is rapidly replenishes itself. The heating and air conditioning system for the entire school is geothermal based. Our anticipation and the results we've seen in other schools like this, there'll be a 35% savings in the total utility cost operating this school. And that is significant. If you are not happy with your own electric bill, you should know that the district's electric bill is about $43 million a year. So every little bit we can do helps, and saving 35% on each of our brand new schools is very important to us. It has a lot of native landscaping that needs very little watering, very little maintenance, a lot of heat reflective surfaces like the paving systems used in the parking lot and the actual roof on the school. But bottom line, it's a beautiful school. It's built for the 21st century, and we expect it to last us for many, many years to come. Ms. G, I can't think of a more appropriate name for this school than to name it after you. Thank you so much.
As he said, our school was designed for no more than 500 students and teachers, so that means our parking lot is not that large. There are some of you who are double parked, and there are some people who need to leave. So if you double parked, please make your way to move your vehicle, because we do have some guests who are trying to leave. As you have heard and hopefully understand that this school is a partnership with several individuals, and we worked hard to make this a success. One person that is not on the program that I would like to recognize is the grant writer for this program, and if she is here, Dr. Barbara Bush from the University of North Texas, the Denton campus. So I want to personally recognize and thank her. And it's a very long story, but some money became available for people to, some grants became available for people to organize early colleges. And the University of North Texas wrote a grant to open up 4 early colleges. And it was their charge to approach school districts and form partnerships to open this up. So she had the courage, was courageous to write that grant and then approach the Dallas Independent School District. And that's how all of this ball started rolling for this program. So I just want to recognize Dr. Bush because she is not on the program. And at this time, I would like, thank you. And then the folks that keep us going day to day and who have been with us since the inception are the Texas High School Project, the Cedar Valley College, and the University of North Texas, Dallas. So when those individuals come up, they're going to bring you greetings, and then we're going to do a community pledge. So if they would come up, and your pledge is inserted in your program.
Good morning, I'm Nancy Curie. I'm the Vice President of Instruction at Cedar Valley College. I'm here today representing our President, Dr. Jennifer Wimbish. She sends us her warmest congratulations on the dedication of this fine facility. We partner with Gilliam Academy for the Early College High School program. Our greatest joy in that program is the success of the students that are enrolled. This provides students from Gilliam an opportunity to come to Cedar Valley to take classes to fulfill the core curriculum, which is a requirement, as well as the opportunity to achieve an associate's degree. Most of the students that started in this partnership 4 years ago will achieve that core curriculum, and most importantly, 6 students in May 2012 are expected to graduate with an associate's degree. We are very proud of their accomplishment.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Coxon with the Texas High School Project at the Communities Foundation of Texas. We are thrilled to be able to partner with the Dallas Independent School District and with this school. We just want to acknowledge the Texas High School Project is responsible for beginning early college high schools and STEM schools across the state, and there are over 100 of them. But we've got 4 within the Dallas Independent School District, and that is a tribute to the leadership of our board, of our administration, and the leadership of this community. So we're just thrilled to be a part of this. I think one of the things that is important to remember is that when we talk about early college high schools, and Principal Smith talked about the population of students that we attract to these schools, we need to remember that while everybody deserves an equal chance sometimes is not enough. That kids, especially those who are coming from some challenges, need above and beyond. And so what this school does is provide that opportunity to begin getting college credit hours. As you heard from the higher ed partners that were listed here, they are working with you so that your students can earn up to an associate's degree. That translates into $15,000 in tuition for every student. We can't remember that it costs money to make these schools happen. But putting money in are things that we at the foundation and others can do. But it takes the dedication of a strong faculty, of a principal with the leadership, and most importantly of you, the community, and the children to take advantage of that resource that's being invested in you. We are thrilled to be a part of this celebration today, and we thank you.
Good morning.
I'm Dr. John Price, and I have the pleasure of serving as the founding president of the University of North Texas at Dallas. I'm indeed proud to be here this morning, and I extend congratulations to Ms. Gilliam and her entire family for the dedication of this very beautiful structure today, located adjacent to the campus of the University of North Texas at Dallas. UNT at Dallas has been a partner in this initiative since the very beginning, because I and the faculty and staff of the university recognize the importance of a high school graduate going on to college, going on to a career, and having a successful future and a successful life. You recognize that, Dr. Blackburn, Dallas Independent School District, as does all of these school districts, needs more early college high schools, and I'll tell you why. Number one, they cut down on the time that it takes you to get a college degree. Did you hear that these students who graduate will graduate with a high school diploma and the equivalent of an associate's degree? Then that means they have only 2 more years to get a 4-year college degree. Now, why is that important? It's important because it cuts down on the cost of education. And if you know anything about higher education, you know that we're under attack because it's taking students too long and it costs too much to get a 4-year degree. One of the things that I did early on as president in the creation of this initiative was to pursue a scholarship opportunity for each of the students who graduate from this early college high school and who selects the University of North Texas at Dallas as their college of choice. And I stand before you today to, Gail, renew my pledge that each of your graduating students who chooses the University of North Texas at Dallas, we will pay full tuition and fees for those students who attend the University of North Texas at Dallas. And finally, I just want to say, Gail, and to the students, the faculty, staff, the community, Ms. Gilliam and family, that the UNT at Dallas is proud to be a partner in your success. Thank you very much. And now, if I could get the audience to stand and join us in the pledge, and as Chris comes forward to lead. Chris?
If you'll take out your paper, the insert that was in your program, we're going to all say in one voice, because we believe in the power of education to change lives for the better, we commit ourselves to support the staff and students of Kathlyn Joy Gilliam Collegiate Academy.
Because we believe that education is a great equalizer that can lift individuals, families, and communities from poverty and ignorance. We commit ourselves to stand strong in support of the staff and students of this great school.
Because we believe our students have the capacity to overcome all obstacles to achieve academic excellence.
We commit ourselves to encourage regular school attendance, to demonstrate and expect positive behavior, and to share our personal and financial resources with this school.
And finally, because we believe in the great legacy of Kathlyn Joy Gilliam,
we commit our support to Gilliam Collegiate Academy with our gifts, our time, our talents, and presence to keep the legacy of Kathlyn Joy Gilliam alive in the minds of our students and this community.
At this time, we're going to ask Miss Gilliam's second cousin on her dad's side, the Reverend William Gamble, from People's United Methodist Church in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So, Reverend Gamble, if you will come forward and give us a closing prayer, and then after he concludes, please remain seated for instructions for exiting.
Good morning, afternoon. I'm a product of the Dallas Independent School District. Even though I moved to Colorado, I still considered myself a Texan, except when the Cowboys play the Broncos, and I'm a little ambivalent during that time. So I root for the one that has the best chance of going to the playoffs. What a joyful, and I mean that with no pun intended, what a joyful occasion and day this is, and I'm just happy to be here as a family member representing so many of us who have benefited from Cousin Kathlyn. I remember as a kid going to her house. We always liked to go because she always had goodies. You know, you had to have the educational lecture, but you know, fortunately many of us listened.
Yes.
If I could paraphrase a comment made by Dr. King, we begin to lose our destiny when we forget about things that matter. She never forgot about things that mattered. Education for sure, and many of us listened, and I'm so happy that I listened. You've heard a lot about her participation with community. I just want to underscore what she means to family. This is a woman surrounded by love because she gives love. And as we gathered yesterday for our family gathering, it was just love, love, love from everybody, from everywhere. There's so many of us, a few of us happened to be born in Campbell where she was born, and we just got together and talked about old times and family members. So I want you to know that as much as she has brought you together in education, she has equally brought us together as a family. It's great to be together at a time like this. And we want to thank you for your participation and your support. Would you join me in prayer, please? Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the one we honored, who has worked so hard and tirelessly. We thank you for the gift of her to us. The gift of her to us. We know that this didn't happen just by accident. You have placed certain people at certain times in positions of leadership and authority and dedication, and we're so happy that Kathlyn Joy Gilliam is one of those. We thank you for her spirit, her presence, and her work. May we honor her by continuing her legacy, especially in a time that we need so much emphasis and dedication to education for all of our students, for all of our children. Lord, as we depart today, we ask your blessings upon her, upon our family, and upon all who are here. Bless us, we pray, in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
At this time, will Mrs. Gilliam and the Prices please exit? And as they leave, I'd like to give a personal thanks to the band. Those are my children. So thank you guys.